Hello and welcome to Creator Weekly Live for January 28th, 2024. Today, there are tips and updates for YouTube, Twitch, for writing and blogging, and more. So let's get started. Welcome to those of you who are here live. Please say hi in the chat if you feel like it. I'd love to know what you think about this week's updates. Also, as always, if you'd like to get all the tips and updates and links in your email inbox, subscribe to my newsletter that I can show you. Let's see. I am obviously not working well. There should be a link on the screen right now, or there's a link in the video description. You can subscribe to the newsletter for free or read all the tips and updates online. So I hope to see you in the newsletter subscribers, but if not, you can join me here weekly every Sunday at 10:30 Pacific time. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is an update for YouTubers. And the first thing I want to say is that you should definitely be following Renee Ritchie, who's the YouTube creator liaison. His whole job is to interact with creators, kind of be a go-between, share information. And this week in his post, he said that they will be creating new Mythbuster shorts where he tries to clarify, confirm, or bust various myths, misconceptions, and answer questions and so forth. He is looking for creator input. What would you like to hear about? Do you have a myth that you want busted or a question you want answered? You can submit information to him. He is on YouTube, Threads, and X, Twitter. Find the creator liaison account there or go to the YouTube blog and there are links, and submit what you would like to hear in these new series of shorts. I'm going to say welcome to the folks who are in the live chat today. I see Craig and Jolyn and Diego and Escuela Digital. Escuela Digital, I don't know what your name. Oh, Juan. Welcome to the live chat. And again, I'd love to hear what you think about this week's updates, or if you heard any news this week that you want to chat about. What do you think's happening? Nothing about politics, though. I'm reading about politics enough in real life. Maybe we don't need politics here. Okay, so the first big update I wanted to talk about today is an update on Twitch. Now, Twitch, as you know, also lets creators monetize their content. So if you live stream on Twitch and you reach the eligibility requirements, you can earn some money. Last year, they announced some changes that weren't completely popular. So they are updating how they do the revenue sharing for creators. So the first thing they're doing is they had a program that they introduced last year called Partner Plus. That gave eligible streamers a larger share of the revenue. So instead of a 50-50 split, Partner Plus, 70-30 split, which is much better. what they are doing is expanding the Partner Plus program, and it is easier to be eligible, and you no longer have to be a partner. You can be an affiliate, which is sort of a lower tier. And so if you have enough points, and I am not a Twitch expert, but basically, if you have enough points, I think are based on how many paid subscribers you have and so forth. Um, you may be eligible for the updated Plus program, which gives you a 70-30 net revenue share. The other thing they're doing is removing a cap to the revenue sharing. So I don't really understand why they thought this was a good idea, but if you hit $100,000 in revenue, you would lose the 70-30 split, and it would go back to a 50-50 split. And of course, they realized that this was a disincentive where it actually seemed that streamers were penalized as they reached that threshold. And they're changing the way subscriptions via Prime Gaming pay out. So if I'm understanding correctly, if you have Amazon Prime, usually includes Twitch Prime, it includes one monthly subscription. So it will pay for a month to subscribe to your favorite streamer. And the streamer originally would be paid as if it was one standard subscription. Now, the amount is going to vary depending on what country the viewer is in. So some countries pay a lot less. Like if you have a viewer from Pakistan, that pays a lot less than if the viewer is from the United States. It looks like if you look at the list, United States and Canada have the highest amount given if there's a gift subscription to someone in those countries. And then it varies a lot all across the world. So if you are a Twitch live streamer and you are earning money, you definitely want to review this update and see how it might affect your earnings. I think it's really interesting to see how different platforms are sort of tweaking their various creator revenue sharing models. Obviously, they need to keep enough for themselves to keep things going, but it needs to be appealing enough for streamers to actually invest the time and money to live stream there. Twitch is obviously still trying to find that balance. The other big update I wanted to mention this week is that, not surprisingly at all, Meta just announced the changes they are making to comply with EU regulations. Last week, we talked about changes Google was making. All the big gatekeeper companies need to make these changes. And one of the things that they need to do is allow people to separate services from each other. So what Meta is doing is saying that they will allow users who are in the EU, European Economic Area, and Switzerland to separate their Instagram and Facebook accounts. Now, you can have standalone Facebook and Instagram accounts, but if you've connected them and you are in Europe, you will be able to disconnect them so that they don't share data with each other. There are also a number of other changes. if you use Facebook Messenger, you can separate that so you're using Messenger separately from Facebook. There's also changes to Facebook Marketplace and Facebook Gaming. So if you use Facebook Gaming, you can separate that from your Facebook account. Now, the downside of doing this, of course, is that these platforms use integration between the different services they offer to add features. So, for example, for Facebook Gaming, if you separate that from Facebook, you can no longer play multiplayer games and you can no longer make in-game purchases. But you can do what did they say? Some single-player games without purchases if you do that. The other thing that they changed is that people in Europe can choose to have an advertising-free experience if they are a paid subscriber. Now, all of this, again, is to comply with European regulations, and it remains to be seen if the regulators in Europe think that these changes are going to be adequate. I think one of the things that's notable to me is that if you look at the paid subscription option, it's kind of expensive. It's probably more than Meta makes from a lot of users every month. It will be interesting to see if anyone, or at least a significant number of people actually choose to pay rather than seeing ads. Seeing ads is going to be a lot easier. And whether the European regulators are going to look at that and say, hey, you've made this so expensive that it's not really an attractive alternative. So there's more to play out. But again, the big companies all need to make these changes. Google, Meta, Apple, ByteDance, which is TikTok, Amazon. There were a couple others that Microsoft, which is LinkedIn, and I think there are a couple of others. So this is developing, and it will be interesting to see if these options are made available outside of Europe. I'm in the US, and I look at this and I say, well, if you're going to give the millions of people in Europe these options, why not give them to everyone? So that may happen. It may not happen. We'll see. The other really neat thing I wanted to mention briefly is that there is another tool from StreamYard. If you use StreamYard for live streaming, and you have a paid account. This is not available to free accounts. You can have a recording of the live stream and edit your live stream that's in landscape orientation into a short or reel, vertical, less than a minute. Now, if you do that, it has an option to add automatic captions. I'm sure you've seen these videos and the automatic captions show on the screen, which is really useful. So if you use StreamYard and you edit your videos there, you may want to check this out. The other neat thing relating to captions is that Apple Podcasts is going to automatically caption the podcasts there. If you are a podcaster, you don't have any choice in the matter. You can either submit your own captions for your podcast, or Apple will make the captions automatically. But there's no option to have an uncaptioned podcast, at least in English and the other languages that they're starting this with. It says currently they are making transcripts in English, French, German, and Spanish, and they are adding captions to the back catalog over time. These transcripts can be, I keep saying captions, and they're really transcripts, because usually when you're listening to a podcast, you're not reading the captions. Instead, this is a transcript of the audio. People might view it like a caption if they want to, I guess. But anyway, transcripts are being available in English, French, German, and Spanish, and they're adding them to the back catalog. There is no way to opt out of this, but you can choose to include your own transcript. And I can understand why some podcasters may not want to have a transcript available if they're concerned with people not listening to the ads, or maybe this replacing plays or downloads of the podcast itself. But it's a great accessibility feature. Just a few other updates. I wanted to mention that if you have a Blogger blog, you may sometimes notice that Google Search Console gives a scary looking warning that there are page redirect errors. And there is a really good overview in the help community for webmasters explaining why Search Console may show these page redirect errors. And it explains why you may not have to worry about those. It's partially because Blogger has a special URL. When the blog is accessed on mobile devices, the Google search bot may behave like it's a mobile device, so it sees this and it goes to your blog link and then it redirects to the mobile page. That's actually fine. That's actually working as expected. What you need to do is go into Search Console and make sure that's the redirect that's being reported. If it's some other kind of redirect, there may be something else going on that is a problem. So when you see these error messages in Search Console, don't panic. That's always my suggestion. Don't panic. Instead, take the time to look at it, delve into the details, and you may discover that the thing it's showing a warning about is actually no big deal. And I kind of don't like the way that Google Search Console works sometimes. It's probably just me, but I see these things, it's like, oh, we found a problem. And to me, that means, oh, that needs to be fixed right away. Where if you step back and look at the details, a lot of times it's like, oh, this actually isn't a problem. This is just working as expected. It's good to know that it's detecting these redirects, but it may not actually be a problem. So, and again, this may be an issue if you have your blog or website on another platform as well, different than Blogger. You can go into the details of the Search Console report and see what the redirect is and see if it's actually a problem. And the last thing, let me check the time. Oh, time is flying by. The last thing I wanted to mention in terms of setting up your website is if you use Threads. Threads, of course, is Meta's Twitter-like platform. It's linked to Instagram. I've been using it. I like it so far. One of the things that they just did is they started offering some link endpoints that allow you to have a button on your website that people can click and it will automatically create a Threads post. It doesn't post automatically, of course, but you know, it's like share to Facebook or share to Twitter, where you click it and then it automatically includes the link to the page it's on. These are buttons that are just made by third-party people at the moment, but I like this share on Facebook, share on Threads button. You can customize it. This is made by someone named Lucas Puskarak on his website. I have a link in my newsletter this week. He made a nice little interface where you can choose the color and the message that will be included in the button and so forth. So that's kind of neat. And I do expect that eventually Meta will offer official buttons for Threads like they do for Facebook. So this is like a button you can put on your website or blog to let people share to Threads. So those are my big updates this week. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Are you concerned about how Meta combines data or Google combines data from different services? Are you using any of these tools? And I'll just finish today with a little fun tool I was playing with where, let's see. Oh, there's one thing I did want to mention that I forgot to mention. I am definitely a bit scattered. Chrome, Google Chrome is getting 3 new generative AI features. Of course, generative AI is everywhere. It's being stuck into everything. But these, I think, are kind of a big deal because so many people use Chrome as their browser. And the tools they are offering include a way to automatically organize your open tabs. So you can get a little prompt. It's like, oh, you have these tabs open. Do you want to group them together for later access? You can create your own themes with generative AI. This is like the background when you open a new Chrome window or tab. But the things I wanted to talk about is the automatic text generation. So they want to offer help drafting things on the web, they say. And you get started, you click any text box on the web and select the option to help me write. And then there will be an AI assistant to help you write the entry. And to me, this is going to be huge. Already, if you read reviews, if you're on forums, if you're on social media, you have probably noticed some low-quality AI-generated text. It's fast, it's easy, and sometimes it's just a lot of, how can I put it nicely? I can't put it nicely. It's crap. It's very spammy. And my concern is that building this into Chrome is just going to encourage more low quality, spammy AI generated answers, especially since this should work in any text field. So if you're in a forum, if you are on Amazon leaving a review, you'll have this option. We'll see how that goes. You can access this in the latest version of Chrome that's just rolling out. For Mac or Windows, it's not yet available for Chromebooks. So I haven't actually tried it since I usually use the Chromebook, but hopefully it will be coming soon so I can at least give it a spin. The other AI feature I wanted to talk about is a fun thing called Art Selfie. This is a feature from the Google Arts and Culture app. Art Selfie 2 gives you an AI-generated selfie image based on art or historical artifacts, or it looks like you're exploring. So what you need to do is install the Google Arts and Culture app on your device and choose this feature. You take a selfie, and once you've taken the selfie, you can then have the AI convert it into something arty. And I played with it a little bit. Here's me looking like a Frida Kahlo painting, or here's me in space. So it's kind of fun to play with. The weird thing is, for some reason, the AI always gave me blonde hair almost every time. So there's some weirdness based on the AI. So those are today's updates. Before I go, I want to mention that the other group I'm with, OnEBoard, we are doing our OnEBoardChat on multiple platforms. This is a Sunday chat. It's at 11 a.m. California time, which is immediately after this live stream. And what we're doing is having a poll with prompts and just to spark discussion. This week's topic is blogging, and I'm the host. If you want to join the discussion on YouTube, you should check out the OnEBoard YouTube channel's community tab. The discussion will be starting there in just a few minutes. But if you go to the OnEBoard community tab, you'll see a poll and some questions to answer to start the discussion. And I will also be over on X, Twitter, which is at PeggyKTC. And there's also going to be a discussion post on LinkedIn. I'm not really active on LinkedIn, so I can't tell you details about that. But we're giving this a try, and I hope you check it out. I'll also be resharing the poll to my community tab on my YouTube channel. So those are all the updates for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Sunday and a great week, and join me again, same time, same place next week. Thank you so much.